How's it going, guys and girls? Thanks for tuning in for this first episode of Ozlander Reviews. Working tight. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at Wolf Creek 2, released in 2013 and starring John Jarratt and Ryan Corr. Now, I am a huge fan of the Wolf Creek franchise. They're set in Australia, and I am an Australian boy, so maybe I'm biased, but hopefully you guys enjoy this as much as I do. So before we get into it, I should say a general warning for violence. This is a horror movie, some coarse language, and of course, general spoilers. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get right into it. We start the film off with a couple of police officers, Boomer and O'Connor, just chilling in the outback sun. Our antagonist, the friendly Mick Taylor, passes by. The younger officer notices that he isn't speeding.
Oh shit, it's under.
His partner, however, isn't having none of that following the law nonsense, and points out that Mick doesn't know he was speeding, which is a pretty dumb argument really, but movie's got a movie, and so the two officers immediately start following him.
G'day.
What follows is a brilliantly filmed scene with some well-built suspense as the two officers belittle and insult Mick,
You think I'm talking shit?
almost making you feel bad for the psychotic killer. They give him a ticket and then they speed off, leaving a rather pissed off looking Mick Taylor behind. We cut to the two officers, happily mocking Mick and his truck, but their excitement is short-lived as Mick blows O'Connor's head off with his rifle. It's at this moment that the car decides this is the perfect time for some off-roading. Old Mickey comes down, and after some self-congratulation on his marksmanship, he notices that Boomer has crawled away.
Well, where the bloody hell do you think you're going?
After setting his broken leg for him, Mick helps him back to his car. He gives Boomer a hand with that pesky ability to walk, and then loads him up into his car, and deciding, even after he tried to escape, he'd still help him warm up a little bit. So he douses him in petrol and lights him on fire. What a gentleman. And then we get a boom! Movie title. Quick mood swing as we follow two German tourists, Rutger and Katharina, hitchhiking from Sydney. Wait, hang on. They're not even at Wolf Creek yet. Why is Mick pulling up? Oh, come on, they're not even at... Oh. Okay then. Mick doesn't like witnesses apparently, so he drives off when this truck comes up at the intersection. And so now I am perfectly sure that they will never run into him again, and they are A-OK. Let's roll credits. No? No roll credits? We're not done yet? Oh, crap. Alright then. They hitchhike some more, catching a ride with this random goat lady that Mick somehow hasn't killed yet, eventually winding up at, of course, Wolf Creek Crater. They set up camp nearby, and night falls. Before long, the light of their fire is noticed by Mick, and he hones in once again, pulling up and being greeted by our old friend Rutger. Mick, ever the helpful bushy...
Look at this bloody fire, mate. Hey, you haven't put it out properly. All this bloody salt bush around here is dry as a nun's nasty.
offers to take them back to town so they don't get fined. Okay, so he is lying about camping being illegal there, but come on, it's the thought that counts, right? But for some reason, Rutger doesn't want his help, and so a fight breaks out, with Mick making some rather jovial remarks about Rutger's German heritage.
Don't you turn your back on me, you Nazi bastard!
He stabs Rutger and turns to Katharina, preparing to... Okay guys, so I can't sugarcoat this next bit, but basically Mick starts trying to force himself on Katharina. Fortunately, my man Rutger is not dead, and he gives Mick a quick bop on the noggin, just a soft one. Smart move though might have been to grab his gun, because Mick soon overpowers and decapitates the lad with some admittedly very Aussie humour.
Now he's tougher than a pig.
He then overpowers Katharina. Cut to Katharina waking up. Mick is busy a few feet away at his truck. He's butchering the body of Rutger and cracking some downright golden coffee. There are reasons why I love this character, and John Jarratt's stellar performance is definitely one of them. Katharina has been left on the remains of her collapsed tent and apparently some tarp, so she does her best not to make any noise. She does eventually break into the trees. Something tips Mick off, however, and he soon looks around and notices that she's gone. God damn it, Katharina, wandering around the bush at night. You could hurt yourself. So Mick hops into his truck and soon wins the game of hide and seek, as he calls it, catching up to her pretty quickly. But our girl's got some moves, managing to evade the pursuing Mick and making it all the way to the road. Enter Paul. I swear, this is the main protagonist that the Germans would just fodder, okay? But this poor bastard is just driving along, minding his own business. Gets a call from the missus, everything is sweet.
Hey,
Well, your holiday just took a turn for the worst. Paul helps Katerina to his car, cutting the cable ties off her hands, but she's incoherently babbling. It's pretty hard to misinterpret, however, the absolute meltdown she has when Mick appears behind her. And while we're here, I've got to give props to Shannon Ashland for her performance in this movie. A lot of horror movies, the acting seems fake, but this girl nails every moment. It actually makes you feel like she is downright terrified. He takes the chase off-road, which I'd just like to say is the dumbest possible thing you could do in Australia, by the way. And after a while, he runs Mick into a tree. So you'd think this would be celebration time, right? Wrong. He immediately prangs his car into another bloody tree. Mick gets out and gets ready to give Paul an extra breathy hole, but he ducks just before Mick shoots, so unfortunately, poor Cat cops it instead. Probably better than falling into Mick's hands, to be honest. So, Paul naturally panics and drives off, leaving a pretty upset Mick behind. Come sunup, Paul wraps her body up in a sleeping bag. I'm pretty sure he never even found out her name. Don't think he got the chance. And apologises for not being able to save her, with some pretty good acting from Ryan.
I'm sorry.
He reaches the road, pulling over and checking his map. Before anyone asks why he doesn't have GPS, this is Australia. He tries to get the attention of one passerby, but they ignore him, prompting him to have a pretty emotional reaction.
The fuck's wrong with you, you pricks? Stop, you fucking bastards!
Come on, mate. Surely someone will stop. Hey, there you go. There's a truck. Pulling up. Right there. Ah, shit. Better get to running. So Mick lets him run back to his car before beginning to chase him down in one pretty mental chase scene, complete with kangaroos hopping out in front of them.
Hey. Shit! Flying kangaroo! Sorry, Skippy.
Then Mick rams him off a cliff and throws a truck at him. Simple. Mick lets him wander off into the scrub again, where he is eventually found by just the sweetest old couple, Jack and Lil, played by Jarratt Kennedy and Annie Byron, who are both actually pretty well-known Australian actors. They feed him and clothe him, and give him a bit of a chance to recover, but before long, Mick turns up. He wants that British boy, and he ain't giving up the hunt without a fight. We get a tense standoff between Jack and Mick, where Jack actually takes a pot shot at him to try and scare him off, but unfortunately, it's not enough. It leaves Jack with a headache, gives Lil a bit of that back attention she's been asking Jack for, and in the chaos, Paul does a runner. Mick does notice him running off before his attention is caught by a gorgeous black horse, and he gives Paul a head start. Before long, he catches up to Paul, and he pulls out a bullwhip, turning his world very 50 Shades of Grey, before a quick right hook sends him off to dreamland.
Definitely a pommy. Weak as piss.
It's funny, because Ryan's Australian. Quick cut to Mick's humble abode. Beautiful interior decorating, power tools hanging off the walls. If I was Paul, I would definitely feel 100% safe right now. Mick enters, and despite his clear displeasure with the young man for his interference...
Oh, that's a good one. You expect to come to my fucking country, waltz around like you own the bloody place.
He actually takes a liking to his fine English wit.
You mad little British bastard. Let's have a fucking drink, eh?
So they have a few drinks, they have a bit of a laugh, and then Mick offers Paul an absolute ripper of a deal. I'll let him explain it.
I ask you 10 questions, you get half them right, so 5, and then I'll let you go. Does that sound all right to you?
Well, look at that! Ain't that just a fair deal, right? Hey, what are you doing?
Ah, forgot to mention. For each one that you get wrong, I get to grind off a finger.
Well, shit. Better get him right then, eh? Paul does quite well on the first 2 questions, but Mick, he's just itching to grind off a finger. I mean, can you blame him? Come on. So unfortunately for Paul, the next question is a trick question. Mick keeps his word in one of the most painful to watch moments of the film, just because anyone can imagine what that freaking feels like. So, of course, the game continues for a bit until Paul decides he wants to make a trade. 1 finger for 1 hammer. Old Mick accepts the trade and frees Paul's other hand to grind off another digit. However, when he then leaves to get the two of them another drink, Paul reaches for and stashes the hammer. Upon his return, Mick informs Paul that he does indeed have every intention of letting him go.
Yeah, of course I will. Yeah, I'm gonna let you out of here, and then I'm gonna take you somewhere else. Down there.
Oh, no.
God damn, is this man a bullshit artist? However, Paul manages to lure him in by hitting a nerve, shall we say, before donking him on the head, standing up and revealing he knew the correct answer all along. He just really wanted that hammer.
Stun Bradman, bitch.
Unfortunately, it takes more than a whack on the head to knock Mick Taylor down for good, and a chase ensues, with Paul discovering just an absolute bucket load of bodies. I'm going to go ahead and leave the actual bodies out of this video just because I'm not sure how to blur stuff in the video yet, and it is pretty graphic. But take my word for it, there are a lot of bodies down there. Like a lot. Along with the bodies, though, Paul runs into just the healthiest looking lady. Certainly hasn't been through a living hell. Okay, so she's nuts. Paul can't stop, though, so he simply hands her a key ring and keeps going. There's some more chasing, a dead dog, wait, what? And finally, Paul finds an exit, with a punji pit in the way. Paul hears footsteps and takes cover, waiting until Mick passes before popping out and smashing him in the head with the hammer, straight into the punji pit. Bummer.
Bit rough, ain't it?
After some self-righteous monologuing,
In this world, there's people like me, and there's people like you.
it's another bonk and lights out for Paul. Mick doesn't kill him, however. Instead, he dumps him in some town to be found bloodied, bruised, and just all sorts of messed up. And somehow he gets blamed. Don't know how you blame the guy with 2 missing fingers and blood all over, but hey, movie logic. The movie ends with Mick walking off into the bush, rifle in hand, going to do what he does best. Well, that wasn't the happiest ending, was it? Unless, of course, you're like me and you want to see more of this shit. Released in 2013, Wolf Creek 2 did significantly better than its predecessor, spawning 2 more miniseries on the Australian streaming service Stan, and I'm pretty sure there's at least 1 more movie and 1 more series in the works, so we certainly haven't seen the last of the character. And now this movie review is done! So, if you enjoyed this video, and I presume if you made it this far you probably did, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Anything and everything is immensely helpful. If you have any feedback, any ideas you'd like for, and stuff you'd like me to review, any ways I can improve the video, chuck it down in the comment section. Again, anything and everything, welcome. And I guess that's it. Not much else to say. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.